The number one thing that changed my life was when I learned how to properly and correctly use affirmations. Prior to learning how to properly and correctly use affirmations, I was mindlessly saying my affirmations and I noticed that I would never really get results. I would just grow continually frustrated by telling myself something that I truly didn't accept to be true. In this video, what I do is I show you how to pair affirmations with what's known as confirmations to allow your subconscious mind to undo its barriers so that you can fully accept it deep in your heart and believe that you were meant to be rich, you're meant to be healthy, and you're meant to have the love life that you want. When it comes to affirmations, the number one thing most people get wrong and why it never works for them is they believe they can just robotically, mindlessly say affirmations or put it in an audio and just listen to it and it will get them results in their lives. That's like the laziest way to do it, and typically it's just words without any meaning that get into their subconscious or psyche. The heart doesn't understand words. The heart understands feeling. Every single feeling has a unique signature, color, smell, feel. So when you say, I am confident, I am enough, I am wealthy, if you feel wealthy in your soul, then that affirmation will actually take hold. So with affirmations, visualizations, any kind of technique, the purpose of that technique is to get you a coherence in heart and mind. Manifestation works when both your heart and your mind accept whatever you're suggesting to yourself as true. The reason why most people can never make a permanent change in their lives is because they only satisfy one condition, the mind. Intellectually, they believe it, but emotionally, they don't become one with it. So for example, we have a lot of clients who come in, they're like, oh, I started this business and I started doing $80,000 a month, but then the next month it went down and I went bankrupt. Like I spent all my money. I could never keep it. Why is that? Well, I thought I believed, but I didn't feel rich. I always felt like I wasn't good enough and I was trying to compensate. They didn't ease into the wealth that they created or the money that they manifested. And that's why you see a lot of lottery winners win money, but then quickly go bankrupt because they didn't work for it, work towards it. They've just immediately hit the lottery and they haven't eased into that wealth. They haven't internally embodied the identity of a wealthy person. So in order for a change like that to happen, it's kind of like, I want you to think about it as having solid foundations. Okay? You're supporting a different kind of weight, but you don't have a solid base. A solid base can only be attained when your heart fully accepts it and you believe being wealthy is my birthright. If you look at people who are rich, they actually believe that they were genetically predisposed to wealth. It's funny, Donald Trump was asked in an interview a long time ago, like, wow, why are you so, how did you become so rich? Genetics. He literally said genetics. I don't fully believe in that because you can brainwash yourself to the point where you're like, oh, being rich was my birthright. I was meant to be rich. What if you could actually fully accept that? You were meant to be rich. You were meant to be wealthy. You were meant to have the greatest of the greatest things that life, earth has to offer. But the reason why you don't have it is because you don't fully accept that as the ultimate truth. You believe you need to fight. You believe that you were destined to be poor, to be broke, to be fat. And so you attract all of those things into your life and you believe that, oh, this is my natural state. My natural state is to be unhealthy, to be broke. And I need to fight every single day to attain non-broke, non-unhealthy. Because of this phenomenon, every single day feels like a fight and you quickly squander what you have. So with affirmations, the goal is to get to a point where you truly, truly accept, I was meant to be healthy. I was meant to be wealthy. And I was meant to have great relationships. I'm perfect the way I am. But society conditions you to believe that you're not perfect, that somehow you're damaged because they can sell you products. Buy this, then you'll be perfect. Look like this, then you'll be perfect. Then, have this much money, then you'll be perfect. Then your wife will respect you. They always program this stuff into you because they want to, the pendulums, they want to sell you something. Most people with affirmations, they never achieve results because they truly deep down in their soul believe that they're not good enough. And they do affirmations to feel good enough. The affirmation itself becomes a form of resistance, a form of battle against the self. Once I do my affirmations, then I will be more confident, then I will be good enough, then I will be wealthy, then I will be healthy. Unfortunately not. What needs to happen is a heart and mind coherence. The way you achieve that, by the way, is by continually showing yourself evidence of something that you want happening. The way I did this with myself was I wanted to believe that I was wealthy when I wasn't wealthy. For a long time, I believed that I wasn't destined to be rich. I wasn't destined to be a successful business owner because I wasn't born that way. My parents were immigrants, corporate job workers, and I was destined to have something like that. That I could believe. Like if I made $100,000 a year, that was phenomenal. Health insurance, the lot. Like that's great. And I could just hold on for 40 years until you're 65 or 60, and then you can retire. And when your life energy is zapped from you, then you can have everything that you want. But I didn't, deep down in my soul, that didn't resonate with me. So I strived to change that. And what I learned on my journey was that I had to shift at my very core, the identity level. And the only way I could do that is if I accepted the truth that I was meant to be wealthy. I was special some way. And so I did that through looking for confirmations of I was meant to be wealthy. I was meant to be wealthy. Okay, let's go ahead and start a business. Let's start making YouTube videos. Oh, look, I'm getting views. Views equal money at some point, even though I'm not making money now. It's working. I'm moving forward. Progress is being made. Every single day, the minutest thing was a confirmation. Your affirmation becomes an open loop that never gets closed. The way you close that open loop of affirmations is by looking for confirmation. The mind without proof will not accept anything. In order to open the gates of the mind, you have to consciously look for confirmation. If you're looking for confirmation that you are losing weight, you have to look for the littlest of progress. The glass is always either half full or half empty. It just depends what you're focusing on. If you keep focusing on how the glass is half full, you'll get more of that. If you keep focusing on how the glass is half empty, you'll get more of that. If you keep focusing on how you just keep putting on weight and no matter what you do, nothing works, great. That's what you'll get more of. But if you keep noticing, oh, today my triceps popping out a little bit. I lost a little bit of weight on my gut. That's what you'll get. You'll get more and more of progress. So your affirmations have to be congruent to the confirmation that you're looking for, even if it's the tiniest sliver of proof. And our clients always talk about this, that this was the main thing that they used to make a change happen. They started looking for confirmations that they are wealthy. And when they started to look for confirmations that they are wealthy, they started making money. One of our clients, Tia, she went from being in $250K in student loan debt and working 2 full-time jobs to becoming an entrepreneur, starting her own speech pathology business and making $40K a month while working less, and now spending more time with her family. She was looking for confirmation every single step of the way that this was her destiny, that this was meant to be. Even when we first started working together 4 years ago, we got on an interview and she was like, I spoke to a fortune teller and she said, you're going to meet a man who's going to help you change your life. And she accepted that as true. And so in my journey, I've always been very, very skeptical. I have an engineer's mind. I'm like, this is all hocus pocus. This isn't even real. But then when I started to look at people who are becoming successful, I was like, this is a kid. I had 2 friends at the time who were 20-year-olds and they were making $10K a month. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. How are you doing that? You're traveling the world. You're doing what you want. You're living the life that you want. You're not smarter than me. I'm so smart. I should be doing like 10 times that, So I started to notice that people who were intellectually more disarmed were easily accepting all the goods that life had to offer. And that's why I find that people who are more skeptical, more in their heads, have a hard time changing their realities because their mind is closed off to receiving anything. And so for those kinds of people who have a very strong intellectual barrier, you need to open yourself up by looking for more confirmations. Like, hey, the thing that I want to move towards, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. Every single fiber of your being will say, oh no, it's not happening. Look, you're just lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. Fine, lie to yourself. Pretend for a while. Fake it until you make it. Who you pretend to be is who you'll eventually become. Is this science or is this spirituality? I was having a discussion with my wife last night and I asked her like, hey, do you believe in God? She's like, yeah, but some things I can't explain with evolution, like evolution kind of contradicts God. I'm like, well, does it though? Does it really? And so, I was reading this science book and, I believe in God. I believe there's a higher power that's like, it just doesn't make sense. I know God exists. Like, it's not even a belief anymore. And she was like, how come you're reading that? How can you like talk about God and you're reading this science book that explains like the evolution of mankind? I'm like, well, God created and set the initial conditions. Evolution is science. God created the initial conditions of the Big Bang or whatever happened, whatever existed before space-time was even real. And then The initial conditions were set by God, and now everything is evolving as per God's will. God doesn't intervene anymore. That's at least how I see it. Science tries to explain what God created. It's just like, in hindsight, it's trying to explain phenomenon and why it's occurring the way that it is. So is this science or spirituality? The real answer is, I don't know. These are just labels that we can put on it. There is definitely science to it that we haven't understood yet. Like the ancient civilizations, they had a lot of ways of doing things that we still can't explain yet. Science still can't explain yet, but that's what science is. It's always trying to explain incredible phenomenon that's already occurred, right? It's trying to explain the past. It's trying to explain how things came to be. But how things came to be is how God or the higher power made it to be. And so the pyramids, can't explain it. Lifting up blocks that weigh as much as an airplane. How? How would they have instruments? They couldn't even have enough people to lift that. This is both science and spirituality. The brain has different parts of it. One part of it is the reticular activating system. When you prime it with the affirmation, it begins to look for evidence. And when you close that cycle, the RAS gets even more primed, gets stronger to look for more and more of that. Kind of like when you think about a yellow car, all you see are yellow cars. If you'd like to take these teachings deeper and actually get real results in your life by working one-on-one with me and my team, what you can do is click right here to fill up an application to see if you qualify. Who we typically work with are people who want to grow their income, entrepreneurs, business people, people in careers. And what they're finding is they keep hitting an invisible revenue ceiling. And they don't know why they keep hitting it. They have all the tactics and strategies, they have the skills, but it's a mindset and internal issue. And what we help them do is shift their identity to become someone who is worthy and deserving of the thing that they want, so they can experience that as a default, as their new comfort zone. Your new goal becomes your new standard of your reality. So click right here to fill up an application to see if you qualify, and I'm looking forward to potentially speaking with you.